What's up, A to Z Sports, Titan Game Day Live. It's the Postgame Show presented by our friends at the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, live from the rooftop at Acme Feed and Seed. Shout out to Spirited Hive and Ranch Water for their game day specials. The Titans lose their fifth halftime lead this season and drop to the Seattle Seahawks 20-17. The final score. We'll go through it all. Ryan Tannehill had an opportunity to get down there for a game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown with a minute to go, but couldn't pull it off in his return as a starting quarterback in spot duty. I'm Austin Stanley with Jack Gentry here live at Acme Feed and Seed to go through everything, and the Titans now drop 5-10 record on the season. Jack, before we get going officially, tell the people what they have to do.
Yeah, hey, while we're filing in, we don't like what happened on the field today over at Nissan. Well, some of us might. There's definitely implications beyond just this game. But like the show as you roll in here, if you're watching on Facebook, share the show. Share it to your Titans Facebook groups. If you're watching on YouTube, tap the bell icon at the top of your screen. Make sure you turn those notifications on. You don't want to miss anything from A to Z Sports when covering this Titans team. And last but definitely not least, if you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch link to your Titans text groups, text it to your family, your relatives, anyone who just watched the Titans blow their fifth halftime lead of the season. Send that link out. We want to grow the audience, grow the show. Texting it out, sharing the show, all of that helps. Last but not least, do not forget to like the show. Let's definitely throw that like button around. And Austin, let's get the show on the road.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into Titan Game Day Live. It is the post-game show presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for A to Z Sports from the rooftop at Acme. For all the home games with game day specials with Spirited Hive and Ranch Water on board. Special shout out to all of our other great friends and partners for our Titan Game Day Live this season. X Golf Nashville, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. The Mint Gaming Hall, just 35 minutes north of Nashville. BetMGM, Chim Chimney, Adventure Science Center, Jarrett HVAC and Plumbing. Once again, the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry post-game show. The Titans lose in very Titans-like fashion, 20-17. The Titans had a halftime lead of 10-6. Then you get a touchdown in the second half. Derrick Henry scores his second touchdown of the game. This one running. He threw one touchdown earlier in the day. And then, of course, the Seahawks have the door open left by the Titans and march down the field, get a touchdown. Trey Avery gives up two touchdown catches in the last two drives by Seattle and a pass interference to keep that drive alive. And then Ryan Tannehill sacked a couple times, and the clock runs out. Jack, I will toss it over to you to see what your initial off-the-top take is here from Acme.
This is the first game that the Titans have lost this season that I'm not upset. It's not going to change my mood like a loss typically would.
Okay.
There's not many positives, but there is one positive that I took away from today's game, and that's that Tim Kelly is capable of making adjustments. We talked about the first down play calling last week. It was better this week. Tannehill still wasn't really efficient, but Kelly wasn't afraid to throw the ball on first down. I liked what I saw in play calling today. Now, execution could have been better from Tannehill. I think that, we became so accustomed to seeing Tannehill in the 2-minute drill, game-winning drives, fourth quarter comebacks. That was his MO early on in his Titans career. He melted today in those situations at the end of the half and at the end of the game there. Just no wherewithal, throwing the ball to receivers on short routes, getting tackled inbounds. Didn't really feel like he was in rhythm today. Derrick Henry was. Good to see Derrick Henry. You can't take games for granted anymore with Derrick Henry. You don't know how much longer he's going to be here. But the secondary held up for the first half. We knew that the offense had to do more in the second half. They were incapable of doing that once again. It's a trend that we've seen continue far too long this season. The penalties were bad today once again. The Titans, one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, but they lead the league in false start penalties.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
What's the deal is they have bad players. We know that, but it seems like even their best players or players that should be better are not playing well either. You mentioned, I'll start with the secondary because Geno Smith had a really pedestrian first half, and then he goes for over 150 passing yards in the second half alone and gets Tyler Lockett involved, JSN, DK Metcalf, and then Colby Parkinson, the tight end, with the game-winning touchdown catch there. But Trey Avery was always going to give up those type of plays. And I said this to you when it comes to tanking in the NFL. Tanking in the NFL is having bad players guard good players, having Terrell Edmonds and Trey Avery continuously guard DK Metcalf. Now, every once in a while, Terrell Edmonds is going to make a play at the goal line and force a field goal instead of a touchdown. But then Trey Avery has a couple of really bad drives, gives up 2 touchdowns and a pass interference to keep it going. Had a hold even waved off too on that drive. And that's what tanking in the NFL is. But what I want to spend more time on, Jack, Ryan Tannehill is old enough, experienced enough to be better in late game situations. I understand Ryan Tannehill's offensive line is as bad as it gets, and Andre Dillard was back out there playing left tackle because of the injury to Jalen Duncan. But we talked about this at the halftime show. Ryan Tannehill wasting seconds for a meaningless 5-yard completion to a player in the middle of the field instead of clocking the football or throwing an incomplete pass to save that time. He did it again. He took 2 sacks on that drive where you could not afford to do that. And then there's no reason to throw the football to somebody short and in the middle of the field that can't get out of bounds to stop the clock. Yet Ryan Tannehill's been doing this since Cleveland when he threw one to Tajay Spears at the end of the first half, the same situation there. Ryan Tannehill has been awful this season, and I don't know why, because it kind of came out of complete nowhere. He lost all of that clutch factor or that poise that we saw him have the first 3+ years as the Titans quarterback. Jack, you were right. You mentioned, Zach and I talked about this, fourth quarter comebacks. At one point, Tannehill was leading the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks, and he forgot how to do anything in clutch moments.
Got the yips.
Yes.
I disagreed with the decision to start Tannehill today to begin with, because it doesn't do anything for you. If anything, it helps you compete in games where you should be losing. If that's, I know nobody wants to lose. Nobody in that building wants to lose, but there's more positives that can come from a Malik Willis start, right? Like,
no, I disagree.
Obviously it hinders the development of your skill guys. We still need to grow, but I just, maybe you boost its value a little bit. I don't know, but if Tannehill's going to play like that, what's starting Malik Willis going to do? Starting Malik Willis
will not allow Derrick Henry to have 88 yards on 19 carries.
Yeah, fair. But at the same time, I just don't know what you get out of starting Tannehill if he's going to play this poorly. Derrick Henry now has the same amount of touchdown passes this season as Ryan Tannehill. So you got to make a change there. If Levis isn't going to go, I think Malik Willis should be the guy moving forward. We've seen enough of Tannehill. It's time for him to rest up, get ready for the offseason, start talking to his agent. He's no business playing for this football team anymore. I wanted to see him go out on a high note because he did some great stuff here. But his time has passed, and the Titans have to move on. Now you got to start looking towards the draft. Malik Willis is a tank commander. He will help you do that. Yeah, and Sheila says Tannehill needs to retire. Honestly, it feels like he has completely lost a lot of the juice that we've seen him have, even though he had 2 carries for 37 yards, 18.5 per. Chris Parker says starting Malik is a dumb statement. VAB says, LOL, you don't know that, Austin, in response to me saying you don't get Derrick Henry to go for 88 yards and over 100 total yards from scrimmage if Malik is a starter. I truly believe that Malik Willis doesn't allow Derrick Henry to have that room. You get to see Chig have 6 catches for 63 yards. He caught his touchdown from Derrick Henry. So, okay, 5 catches for 50 yards from Tannehill from Chig. You don't get to see that from Malik Willis. Yeah, possibly. They definitely would have ran Henry more, and it would have been more predictable because you're not really afraid of Malik Willis throwing the football. You want to make him beat you as a defensive coordinator, and he's probably incapable of doing that. Tannehill has garnered a little more respect from defensive coordinators, so I understand your point. You got to start really looking at the direction of this team, though. I think that Malik Willis, there's more things that he can do for you in terms of the draft pick than Tannehill. Yeah, but the same result happened, though, right? And I did see a comment here that I wanted to bring it up. And Mr. Robinson's on Facebook. The Titans did what they were supposed to do, lose. And that's what I was saying at halftime, lose. The Seahawks need to win. Seahawks want to win. And the Vikings were losing at the time. I think the Vikings did lose to Detroit. And the Titans needed to lose for the draft capital. And so shake hands and make it entertaining. Have it look like it's coming down to the wire. But Vrabel and Pete Carroll scheming up things. Hey, we're going to make this look good, right, Derek? We're going to give our crowd something because have Derrick Henry throw a touchdown. Does that work for you, Pete? And then have Derrick run for almost 100 yards. Not too much, but then rush for a touchdown.
to get the cannons fired. We got all these fireworks saved up here because we can only score 18 points a game. So try to get more touchdowns, more fireworks out at Nissan Stadium. Obviously, the Titans players want to win. The coaches want to win. Ryan Tannehill wants to win, but they clearly are not good enough to pull that off. All right, Jack, let's go ahead and do this like we always do in our post-game show. We ask you guys the one-word game. One word. What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Seahawks, 20-17? What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Seahawks, 20-17? But first, I want to tell you guys all about the team and our friends at Amanda J. Gentry, the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, wherever justice demands, practice in Tennessee family and criminal courts in 35 counties across Middle Tennessee. As a Middle Tennessee trial lawyer, father's rights is Amanda J's passion, and she will go out there and make sure that you have your rights protected, your fundamental constitutional rights to be a father to your children, and protecting overall your constitutional rights. As a Middle Tennessee criminal defense and father's rights attorney, know your rights and protect your rights with a team that is passionate about your situation and helping you out in the community. The law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, AmandaJGentry.com is their website. Jack, I will send you to the chat one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Seahawks today.
Orlando's batting leadoff today. He says needed on Facebook. Denny says pitiful. SOS, Steve Redfern. Expected from Jason. Predicted. Phenomenal. Tannehill, boring. Tank,
boring.
Joke, expected. Yeah, today wasn't really boring.
No, there's nothing boring about
it. Was
it.
Entertaining. The
Titans
whole way
almost
through.
won.
Relief. Alt. Talking about Joe Alt, the left tackle from Notre Dame coming out.
What about Control Alt Delete Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, that's a good play.
That's a joke, right? If they draft Joe Alt, Control Alt Delete that defensive player, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yuri says chokers. Expected from Ron. Expected again. We see future. Vrabel. Expected. Good. Draft. Fantastic. Typical. Embarrassing. Expected. Expected is definitely the hottest comment we have. Draft is a close second, I believe, right now. Austin, I'm going to go in that direction. My one word to describe this loss is tank.
Tank, simple as that.
You did what you were supposed to do. You saw a few guys pop today, right? Like Landry looks like the guy that you paid a lot of money to. He looks like he can be that dude. Tajay Spears showed up today. Chigakonko had a big game. You get a couple of good individual performances that make you feel a little bit better about the direction of the team next year. But right now, you're in full tank mode. You need to have a tank commander back there. That's why I want Malik Willis to start from here on out if Levis can't go. I think it's time to tank. I think it's been time to tank. It hurts me because I want to win, but I also want to lose at the same time now. It's very hard to cheer this way.
It's weird to watch that way.
But, yeah, my one word's tank.
Tank is your one word. A lot of comments flying in here. Autry needs to be signed. Jared says predictable. Jonathan says Avery on anyone.
And that's the thing. If you can't win a 50-50 ball against Colby Parkinson, then you do not belong on the field for a good defense. The Titans can be a good defense if they fix this secondary.
Right.
Trey Avery does not fit.
Rashid says competitive. Denny asks Austin and Jack, is Vrabel on the hot seat? No, I don't think so. Regardless of if that's right, wrong, or indifferent that he should or shouldn't be on the hot seat, I don't think he is.
They're playing hard. They stink. They're inept, but they're playing
hard. And this
hard.
is like, did Amani Hooker have to go on IR? Did NWI have to go on IR? Jeff, no. It was the team decision to go ahead and shut them down, clear up a roster spot, elevate Wallow or whoever other linebacker that's a no-name guy that just got signed to the team and come in here and try to let them play and figure something out for the future. I'm having a hard time coming up with my one word because I don't want it to be tank like you said.
Yeah, real quick while you think
about
it. Chill Mode's upset. He said, Jack, you lost my respect. I thought you were better than that. Look, when that game's being played, Austin's sitting next to me. I want the Titans to win. I'm hanging on the edge every single play. I love this team. I want them to win every single time they can. But right now, it just feels like everything's lost. The Titans have made the decision to shut down key players like Austin just mentioned. You can tell that they're phoning it in. They just got to get through these last few games. If this was, a Madden franchise, what you do is simulate to the end of the season.
Right.
Just get through it, get it over with. That's kind of where I am right now.
I'm going to cheat, and I don't like doing this in my one. I'm going to go hyphen, mission accomplished.
Okay.
Mission accomplished here on this Christmas Eve. The Titans did accomplish their mission by losing the game and getting something out of some players. Like, you saw some good moments from guys that you don't know their names yet, or that you don't know if they're going to be here. Harold Landry and Arden Key both having a sack is a good thing. Or Danico Autry having another sack is a great thing. He's got 11 now on the season. And Harold Landry's at 9.5. And you have a chance to have Harold Landry have double-digit sacks the year after tearing his ACL. That's a big-time deal. You see Azeez Al-Shire going out there and playing fast and furious to see if he can go out there and maybe earn another contract with this team. You see Chig make plays, Tyjae Spears squirting up the middle to try to get extra yards and fighting for those yards. Mission accomplished outside of figuring out Treylon Burks. I don't know how they can't get Treylon Burks involved, but 2 catches, 25 yards on 3 targets is just about it. Now, he did cause a 15-yard penalty on the Seahawks early in the game, so you can say that Treylon Burks accounts for 40 yards in the game, and that's, not bad, but it's still not pretty.
Still kind of a reach.
You're still like, come on, get this guy going. Do something with Treylon Burks, and I feel like they still are struggling to do that, but overall, mission accomplished.
Yeah, there's really no emphasis on getting Burks to football, and, you would want some return on your investment. That first-round draft pick, you traded A.J. Brown away. You want to see what he can do. You want to get him going, see what he's at when he's getting the ball and he's got some confidence. If there's one thing to do in the remainder of this season, it is to rebuild Treylon Burks' confidence. Because you're going to, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's a bust or not, you're going to need him next year. You're going to have to depend on him at times next year. So he has to grow, and the first step in growth is having confidence, going out there to be able to feel good about what you're putting on tape, have good reps, get fed the ball, and I know it's the quarterback's job to only throw to the receivers that are open. Treylon Burks isn't open all of the time, but there are plays, there are, screens, there are crossers, cater to his strengths, get him the football in situations that, he can accelerate, run after the catch. He's a physical runner when he has the football. Get him the football. I thought the toe tap was nice. We've seen him not come down with that catch more times than not. So seeing that was nice today, but there has to be a more conscious effort from Tim Kelly and his offensive staff to get Treylon Burks the football early and often. Yeah,
I just don't necessarily. I want Treylon Burks to show me something. I want to believe in his ability because I like his freak athleticism, but still nothing's translating to the field. I want to get to this super chat. Kick of the King says, only great thing from this game is his boy, Arlington High School brother, Kenneth Walker, did good in his homecoming back to Tennessee. Anyways, tank. So shout out to Arlington High School's own Kenneth Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. That's a cool story that I had no idea that Kenneth Walker was a Tennessee native. But props to Kenneth Walker. He also got 50 yards rushing to help me win a parlay, along with Treylon Burks 25 and DK Metcalf.
Props, literally.
Going up. Yeah, literally props to that. And DK had 45 right there with Kenneth Walker. Ethan says, at least Derrick had a good game. And I do think that is important. And I'll just ask off the cuff, how important is it to see Derrick Henry have a good game just for Titans fans and just overall morale? Because nobody dislikes Derrick Henry. No. You might think that Derrick Henry is not the future, but how important is it for him to have a bounce back game like this?
I think it's big. If this is the end, which it might be, it might not be, but if it is, you want him to show well on his way out. And, Derrick Henry's struggles this season haven't necessarily been his fault, right? It's the guys in front of him. It's been a mix and match group of guys who just are below adequate at their position. And I want Derrick Henry to play, I want him to go out against the Jags and have a day. If there's one game I want to win the rest of the year, well, there's only 2 left, but it's got to be the Jags. I want to spoil their season, and I want Derrick Henry to go out on a high note if he is going out at all. I would like to see him back, but I'm just a Derrick Henry homer, and I can't imagine 22 wearing different colors.
Yeah.
So I want him to show out at the end of the season. That's what he did today. Thought he did great with his opportunities. He got to the second level consistently, which I told you during the game. It's the first time I've seen him get there consistently all year. So I was happy that he played well.
And the screen worked. Derrick Henry's screen actually works.
Make it fun for Derrick Henry, right? You let him throw the touchdown pass. Make it fun. Make him want to come back.
Yes. Well, and that's a conversation for another day if Derrick Henry is going to be back or not. A to Z Sports here live on the postgame show presented by our friends by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Make sure you like the show. Hit that like button on Facebook and on YouTube if you're watching live here from Acme's rooftop. Ranch Water and Spirited Hive specials here for all the home games at Acme Feed and Seed in downtown Nashville. Jack, let's revisit our X Factor from X Golf Nashville, our X Factor from the pregame show, about where we think and how we think the X Factor went into play here in this game today. Titans do lose 20-17. But X Golf Nashville is where you should turn, home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee, with the best golf simulators on the market today. Take advantage of all the new technology, all the best courses in the world that you see on TV all the time during golf season that you can play at X Golf Nashville in Bellevue. They have the self-tee feature where after each shot, the ball rolls back down, goes to the tunnel. You push a button with the club head, and boom, it's teed up perfectly high for you right there at X Golf Nashville. Gift cards and holiday season, plus the full bar and the TV setup for all the sports viewing, whether it's bowl season, NFL playoffs, coming up college basketball season 2, xgolfnashville.com. So, Jack, what was your X Golf X Factor from the pregame show, and how do you think it played out today?
I think they did a good job with it. Mine was containing Kenneth Walker on the ground because the Seahawks have only had one game this season where they had a rusher exceed 100 rushing yards. Kenneth Walker, 1654. That's 3.4 yards a tote. The whole team, 20 rushes for 58 yards. The Titans really tightened it up. No pun intended. In the ground game after watching Devin Singletary carve them up last week. So that was a good adjustment. By the way, Marlon Davidson, I'm a big fan of Marlon Davidson. I want him to be back next year. He seems to make big plays in the fourth quarter for this team. But, Seahawks run game wasn't necessarily working. They didn't really need it to, because in the second half, Geno Smith flipped the switch, maybe got a shot at halftime or something. And came out and played winning football. And that's, the Seahawks aren't a team that's going to blow a lot of teams out. And that, whether you think they're going to make a run in the playoffs or not, I personally don't, because of that reason. They do enough to beat you. They do the little things well. And that's what they did to get by the Titans today.
Yeah, A to Z Sports. By the way, the Jets and Commanders have just become very interesting here, because the Jets are up 27-7 at one point, and now it's 28-27. Commanders lead. The Jets just got the ball back on a punt. There's like a minute 40 left. Excuse me. Here is why this is important, and I'll get to my X Golf X Factor in a second, but this is important. If the Commanders win, and the Jets lose, that puts the Commanders and the Jets both at 5-10, where the Titans are at now. And it makes it completely muddy with 5-win teams, because the Chargers and Titans are already there. The Bears should win today, and the Giants will probably lose to the Eagles tomorrow. If you've got all those teams sitting there at 5-10, that means the Titans are even closer to potentially being a top 4 pick, because that brings the Commanders back into that pack for all these other things to play out. And the Jets play the Patriots at the end of the year, and they should win that game. So the Jets could then bump up to 6, and the Titans would be able to fly under the radar right there. So this is a big opportunity. You want the Commanders to win this game if you're a Titans fan. So, because Jacob says the Jets can do this. No, you want this. You want the Commanders to win for what I just mentioned. So, all right, my X Factor, I'm going to say, was the good thing about it is that we saw Tim Kelly call plays differently and adjust. Yeah. Tim Kelly last week was way too heavy calling run plays on first down, and he way balanced that thing out. Last week, at one point, he was calling runs on 75% of first down snaps. Today, in the first half, he was over 50% pass. And Jack, we'll have to go back and look and talk about it on Tuesday. But I think it's a good thing that Tim Kelly had success doing other things on first down, not force-feeding Derrick Henry into a cement wall that wasn't working. Now, Kendrell says Tim Kelly is trash, period. I honestly think if Tim Kelly called the type of game that he called today last week, the Titans would have beat the Texans.
They absolutely win. I totally agree with that. And, Tim Kelly hasn't been perfect. It's hard to be with his personnel grouping. I think that makes his job a little bit harder. I'm not trying to make excuses for Tim Kelly, because last week was pathetic. This week, much better. He just doesn't have dudes out there right now.
No.
The Titans are going to get dudes this offseason. They got $75 million to do that. And, hopefully a high draft pick here. So he's going to have more weapons next year. I want to see how he works with a capable group of players. Right now, the Titans only have a couple guys. D-Hop, Levis when he's in there, Tajay Spears, Derrick Henry. But outside of that, I mean, there's not a whole lot there that Tim Kelly can do. He's getting creative. I like how, he's kind of got that Arthur Smith in him where he's not afraid to go to a trick play down in the red zone. He's not afraid to mix it up if things aren't working.
Yeah.
But he definitely needs to be sharper. Today was a step in the right direction. Still need to see more.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the Jets are approaching field goal range. It looks like they're just inside the 40-yard line. So we'll see what happens with the Jets here. Who's playing quarterback? Is that Trevor Siemian?
It's Trevor Siemian.
Man.
Pretty unbelievable. There's some unbelievable.
Trevor Siemian's still in the league.
There's some unbelievable starting quarterbacks this week in the NFL. I mean, there are some terrible quarterbacks starting football games this week.
Yeah. I don't know if the chat is ahead of us or not here at Acme, but, the Jets are inside the 40, 39-yard line.
These last two games, even though the Titans, are on a different side of the playoff hunt, which they normally aren't, the race for for a draft pick is going to be absolutely incredible with all these teams bunched up right now.
Yep.
So even though, Titans don't have anything to really play for, they technically still do. And, I'm trying to paint a silver lining here for Titans fans at home that are disgusted with watching this football team, because even if the Titans lose, you can still find enjoyment elsewhere by watching other teams win, bad teams win.
All right, so here we are. 3rd and 7 for the Jets. They're at the 36-yard line. It is roughly a 53-yard field goal from Lance Zierlein to win the game. 13 seconds left. I believe they will attempt the field goal on 3rd down to protect another opportunity if a bad snap happens, right?
Lance Zierlein,
that's what they should do.
Lance Zierlein probably wouldn't make this kick, but Greg Zerline's got a shot.
Wait, what did I say?
Lance
Zierlein works for NFL Network.
That's right.
Greg Zerline. The Jets are not kicking on 3rd down. They're throwing. Quick throw, sails it out of bounds. So now 4th and 7. This is going to be it. All right, so we always talk about what's playing out in the draft order. I'm going to go ahead while we wait for this field goal attempt by the Jets and tell you guys about Jarrett HVAC and Plumbing. That's where you should turn for any of your HVAC and plumbing needs. Jarrett Companies, they do a great job, locally owned and operated, so you're going to save money on the services rather than going to the big companies there. JarrettCompanies.com, skilled technicians, certified experience, and ready to tackle any challenge. Make sure you have preventative maintenance and they offer plans to help out with your maintenance around HVAC and plumbing. Here is the attempt by the New York Jets going, and it is good. The Jets take the lead 30-28. 30-28.
That's not the worst, though, because you do jump the Jets. Now the Jets have one more win than you do. The Titans, I mean, the outlook right now doesn't look good.
The Titans so the Titans are currently picking 6th with the Jets win. You really need the Bears and the Giants to win a game here because I don't think Washington's going to have a chance to win another game. So with that outcome, and there's still 5 seconds left. So with the outcome of the Jets field goal there, I believe the highest the Titans will be able to climb is 5th. If the Commanders won, the highest would have been 4th.
And that clears it up too, because instead of 6 if the Commanders find a way to win there would have been 7 5-win teams. Now just 5 5-win teams. So that big muddy group is starting to thin out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm counting. Yeah, I guess you're right. 5 5-win teams there. So
some teams that haven't played as well.
Yes, and I believe the Bears should win. The Bears played the Cardinals, I believe.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and then the Chargers are terrible and probably going to continue to lose, even though they gave the Bills a sweat there yesterday. All right, Jack, let's go ahead and talk some about Ryan Tannehill and his performance here in this show today. But first, we'll tell you guys about Chim Chimney and where you should turn for all your chimney needs. Chim-Chimney Inc. When I had somebody come out to our new house to make sure our fireplace, chimney, and dryer vents were all ready to go for the winter, we went with Chim Chimney. Chim-Chimneyinc.com is their website and where you should go for all your chimney needs. Excuse me. And they do the right job the first time. Honest, dependable, and affordable. Safety first when you go with Chim Chimney. You're doing it with safe services that not only enhance your chimney performance, but also ensure your home remains safe from fire hazards and carbon monoxide risks. Customer satisfaction. Chim Chimney's customer testimonials speak volumes about their level of service provided. Chimney always goes that extra mile. Chimney Inc. for all of your chimney needs. Jack, grading Ryan Tannehill. I'll have you go to the chat. What are people grading Ryan Tannehill with today?
You know, Austin, I don't know if it surprises you, but not very good grades rolling in from the chat right now. Let's start with who's going to be the leadoff hitter today. Jameson, F. Don't even ask the question, says Jameson. Steve agrees, F. Ken, also F. Ronnie says F+. Eric goes F+++++. A+ from David Victory. Said, hey, you know what? Tannehill did enough to get the loss.
True.
Which, you know, could be looked at as an A. We're going to go to the bottom now. Dylan Cole says C-. C- from Sam caused that it was so bad it goes to an E. We got F's from Traw and B-Birds. We got an A for the tank from Bork. C+, F, C+. Sheila says D. Let's see. A+++ from Daniel. A for the tank. So we're seeing a few A's for the tank. Tanny gets an F from Darren. So, Austin, I'll tell you what my grade is. I'm going to go – I think I'm going to go D. You know, we've seen Tannehill play like this. We know he's not going to throw for 300 yards, right? That's not in his game. Not in this group, right?
But can he throw for 150? Not today.
Should be able
149.
The reason why it's not an F is because there's no turnover. I thought he did well taking care of the football today. You know, he told me the Titans didn't have a turnover today. I think they come out and win this football game ahead of the show. But didn't turn over the football, but still didn't do enough. Didn't get Traylon Burks to the football. Didn't throw it deep a single time, really.
No.
You know, Will Levis is aggressive, but Tannehill played it so close to the vest, so conservative. I didn't like that there were no shots today.
So you said D?
I said D.
I want to go, man, I think I'm just going to go D. I'm right there with you. Like, okay. Ryan Tannehill is uneventful. Ryan Tannehill existed today, and that's it. Like, did he do anything that truly helped, or did he just fill a role and complete some passes? Like, did he make a play? Did Ryan Tannehill he made a couple plays with his legs, but he made a lot of plays that hurt you more than they didn't. Holding on to the ball for ages in the pocket, throwing the football and wasting time at the end of the first half and at the end of the game when they could have won a game. Ryan Tannehill doesn't want to tank. Ryan Tannehill wants to win. Ryan Tannehill and his agent want him to go down there and score a touchdown and win the game, or at least tie it and send it to overtime to show, hey, see, he's still got something. You should pay him $10 million to compete for your job next year. But Ryan Tannehill's got nothing left.
Yeah, you know, artificial intelligence isn't there yet, but when it does and they can, you know, turn a robot into a football player, that's the kind of performance Tannehill delivered today. It was very average, very robot-esque, took too many sacks, forgot how to run the 2-minute drill twice. Just upsetting. And, you know, we know what's coming with Tannehill now. Like, we know how he's going to finish these last two games. It's going to be the same type of game. It's going to be hard to watch, but they're going to be in it for longer than they should. That's why I want to see Malik Willis next week.
I think Ryan Tannehill is trigger shy, and he's processing things so much slower than he has in the past.
And you know what? Christian Fulton this season was pressing because it's a contract year. He wanted to make interceptions, so he gets paid big bucks by whatever team wants him next year. Tannehill is looking for a new contract as well. I think that he's playing it conservatively because he doesn't want to make mistakes, doesn't want to throw any death picks like he's been known to do this season. So a team will take a chance on him next year. There's going to be a team that takes a chance on him anyways, but I think that maybe that's factoring into some of these decisions.
I don't think Malik Willis needs to play. I think Will Levis should try to play. We'll talk about this Tuesday and moving forward overall. But Ryan Tannehill is nothing. Like, it's just he gives you nothing.
Afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah, very much so. And by the way, the Bucs are up 10-0. So the Jags are losing on a day that the Colts and the Texans also lost.
Jags are frauds.
Nobody wants to win the AFC South.
No, it'd be a great year to be healthy and competitive, though, because everybody's got a shot at it except for the Titans, which nobody had down on their bingo card this season.
Because once again, we're talking about a game the Titans should have won, and that's going to lead me to the next and last segment of our post-game show presented by our friends at Adventure Science Center. They've got this new thing starting January where it's third Thursdays, adult night a third Thursday of the month at Adventure Science Center. And it's not too late to get the Adventure Science Center membership for your kids and for your family overall for the holidays. Go spend time while your kids are out of school at Adventure Science Center. It's been around for generations. A great way to have fun and also learn a lot with their different exhibits. They have open with interactive exhibits all over the center near downtown Nashville. AdventureSCI.org. Again, third Thursdays, adult nights coming up starting in January moving forward. AdventureSCI.org. They present the winning formula where Mike Vrabel, they should have won this game. Mike Vrabel has the three things, right? Run the football, win the turnover battle, and have a better quarterback rating. The Tennessee Titans dominated in the run game, over 100 yards more than what Seattle did, 162-58. Really, when you look at the quarterback rating, Geno wasn't great. He threw 2 touchdowns late. Obviously, that puts him over the 100-point mark when it comes to his quarterback rating. And when you add Derrick Henry's 1-for-1, 12 yards and a touchdown, the Titans quarterbacks or pass throwers had a 98 quarterback rating and no turnovers. So it was pretty even, but the Titans could not make a play, and it comes down to their quarterback not being able to make a play to help them win the football game.
Penalties were a problem in this one as well, Austin. Big-time penalty issues today. That's got to be cleared up. And Mike Vrabel teams don't typically get a lot of penalties. This offensive line is holding them back significantly. But, yeah, like you said, the recipe didn't work today. You know, the stove was a little too hot, a little overcooked today. Didn't come home for the Titans, but, you know, sitting here as a Titans fan, you can't be too depressed because you did make some serious ground up in Tankathon.
Yeah, for sure. Blast says Vrabel needs to go. His philosophy doesn't work in the modern NFL. And Darren says Vrabel's formula needs an update.
I agree, because winning the rushing battle, while it is important, it's not everything in the NFL anymore.
Sure.
You know, passing, you got to make plays through the air. Tannehill was afraid to do that today. When you have nothing to lose, why does Tannehill not just go out there and air it out? Why don't he rip it around the yard a little bit? He didn't do that, which is the wrong mindset in my opinion. And if he's going to be afraid to make those mistakes, get a guy in there with something to prove. Get a guy in there who has something to play for. That is Malik Willis. Yeah, and I look back and I think how close this team was to a lot of these games. And there's a lot of one-score losses the Titans have, especially look at the last 3 games at home. Blown halftime leads that you should have won. You lost 2 of them in overtime because of missed extra points. This team is not that far away. Now, it's 3 games going in, but it's close games, right? But 2 of those were two divisional opponents. The Titans are really not that far away when you're looking at how bad the division still is because everybody else in the division is losing too. That's the missed opportunities this season are what I think is the most painful. I don't want to. I totally agree. And you know, this is the NFL. Last year, the Vikings won all of their one-score games. This year,
they're losing.
It typically doesn't happen 2 years in a row, right? Like the water always finds its level in these one-score ball games. So that's your hope. That's at least something to cling to for some optimism if you're a Titans fan.
Yeah, and Koss says next year Levis owns this division. Like I think there's a
shot.
The positive is you have some good players on this team that need to stay healthy. And if Will Levis can stay healthy and you can go add to it, the AFC South can be up for grabs next year.
The Jags, in my opinion, were prematurely anointed the kings of the AFC South. Last year, it took a game where Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in the playoffs, where they come back and beat the Chargers, who we've now found out are frauds.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone was singing Trevor Lawrence praise. Oh, he's elite. He's clearly not elite. He's already thrown 1 pick today against Tampa. If he loses this game, the Jags are in serious trouble. But the AFC South is wide open. In my opinion, the team to watch out for next year is the Texans. You got to make sure you're keeping up with the Texans this offseason. They had a lot of money to spend last year. Obviously, 2 top 5 picks,
right?
2 top 3 picks. They go out and make serious adjustments to their roster. Titans have to replicate that formula this year. We talk about the formula for success. The formula for success is spending money and drafting well. Titans have to do those 2 things.
Yeah, no doubt. So as we wrap up here, I'm going to pull up Tankathon, the Titans, after I refresh this once the Washington Jets game ended. So now the Titans are hey, Titans are picking 5th.
Oh, we're jumping.
The Titans jumped.
That's right. Strength of schedule is kind of helping us out today.
There you go.
A lot of those teams that we were tied with, you know, how their former opponents have won today.
Yep.
Kind of leveling it up with the Titans in strength of schedule, which is the tiebreaker outside of head-to-head there.
The Titans are picking 5th currently, ahead of 5 and 10 LA Chargers.
Hey.
And then you have Chicago, who just started. You need the Bears to win. You need the Giants to win tomorrow against Philadelphia. Probably not going to happen. And honestly, Can New England win tonight?
You can't rule it out against the Broncos. The Broncos are always a team that can lay an egg at any given moment.
Yep.
And, the Patriots, Bill Belichick is, this one of his last games up there. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to be playing hard. They're not very good, but Zappy's capable. So we'll see what happens there. But, it's important to get into that 5 or 6 hole.
Yeah.
Because not just about the player you can get there, because you could even trade back 2 or 3 spots, while teams who need a quarterback are more willing to pay you to jump you a couple spots. You drop back a little bit, to where Las Vegas maybe wants to move up and get a quarterback. Well, you fall back a few spots, get a load of draft picks, or at least really good, a couple really good picks, and then you still get your left tackle there. So that's very important.
So David says, I told you that Washington needed to lose. And so, David, I understand that that's how that looks. But when you look at this week in the NFL and the next 2 weeks after, in looking around, if Washington won today, the highest the Titans could go would have been 4th. But the Titans didn't get Washington to win. And so now Washington feels solidified in that 4th, in the top 4, which means the highest the Titans could get likely is 5. And that's where they are currently. And we'll see what happens if the Giants do lose tomorrow, and then how that changes the 5-win teams of Titans, Chargers, Giants.
Yeah, right now everyone needs to be.
And the Bears need to win.
Yeah,
if the Bears win today, right now, that's a big-time deal. So while you're at Christmas Eve, hang out and watch the Bears hopefully win.
Yeah, maybe throw a little Chicago accent on while you watch the game.
There you go. All right, that'll wrap it up for us here live at Acme. Make sure you go and get Ranch Water and Spirited Hive specials, as they have game day specials, all these home games at Acme Feed and Seed. And special shout out to all of our great game day partners: Adventure Science Center, Jarrett HVAC and Plumbing, Chim Chimney, BetMGM, the Mint Gaming Hall, X Golf Nashville. This has been the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hope everybody has a safe end to their weekend. We'll be off tomorrow for Christmas, obviously, and we'll be back Tuesday morning. Appreciate it as always.